Okay, call to order this meeting of the Villa Park Village Board on October 22nd at 7 p.m. Clerk Konecki, could you call the roll, please?
Yes, Trustee Aiello. Trustee Salella.
Here.
Trustee Kazone.
Here.
Trustee Case.
Here.
Trustee Tucker. Here. Trustee Wagner.
Here.
President Bolkus.
Here. We'll all stand for the pledge, and after that we'll have a stand for a short prayer. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustee Wagner has a short prayer for us.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that might affect the residents, staff, businesses, surrounding communities, and all those that enter the village of Villa Park. And continue to remind us that all we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is public comment on agenda items. Clerk Konecki, did anyone sign up for agenda item comments?
Yes, Wendy Granrath wants to speak on item number, I'm not sure what number.
No, item
Tot
12.
lot.
12?
Yeah,
Item 12.
item 12.
My name is Wendy Granrath. I am a Villa Park resident for 40 years in 520 South Princeton. And in reading over the agenda, I noticed the amendment that wants to be put on to change order 1 for the road construction, street improvement fund, the maintenance funding, adding an additional $84,240 and change. My question, a couple of questions and comments. Is this for the tot lot or the fish park, as people have called it, that have lived on the south side? Is that the park that's in reference to this, that is on West Park Boulevard and Harvard, west of Harvard?
Part of it is, not the whole 84,000.
No, I realize that part of it is only that. The other part is amending, I would take an apron or some type of access for the
Right.
private property that's owned on Home Avenue and also the village use of
Right.
that facility. How much is being spent for the parking area?
$32,604.
Was there any public input regarding this expenditure?
No, there hasn't been any public input. The staff had noticed the cars parked along there, and they're concerned about, people unloading and loading their children into cars on this Park Boulevard, and possible hazards that might present.
Well, each of those streets are parking on different sides,
Mhm.
and each one faces the Curry Path. My comment was, what is the real need for it, since most students are in school during the day and lots of walking goes into that area? And from my own experience, there's never really a problem with finding parking. I'm just wondering how feasible and fiscally responsible it is to put in a parking area in that area.
Okay, thank you.
And is that land county land or is it private?
That is
village
village property.
Pardon?
It is village property,
It is village property, but for $32,000,
yes.
part of maintenance of roads.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone else?
No, that was it. Only one signed up.
So anybody else? This is your last opportunity on agenda items. Okay, we'll move on to amendments to the agenda. Does any member of the board have an amendment, any amendments? Seeing none, we'll move down to the consent agenda, which consists of A, the minutes of the board meeting, October 8th, 2018, and B, the bill listing for the week of October 8th and October 15th, 2018, for a total amount of $300,825.17. Do we have a motion for the consent agenda? Trustee Kazone?
Mr. President, I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second? Trustee Sheila? Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Yes, trustee Case,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Salella,
Yes.
trustee Ayello,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. Item six is a second reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending Chapter 2 of the Village Code. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Cable TV Commission has requested to change its regularly scheduled meeting dates to the second Monday of every month, which requires a change to village ordinance. Additionally, this ordinance seeks to dissolve the Summerfest Commission. Staff has noticed a recent decline in resident interest to serve on the commission, and most seated commission members have resigned from their positions. Staff believes the event still to be of value to the community. The event will be planned and executed by the Parks and Recreation Department in conjunction with community volunteer support as available. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do I have a motion for the second reading? Trustee Wagner?
President Booth, I'd like to make that motion.
Do I have a second? Trustee Kazone?
I'll second.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Case,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Ayello,
Yes.
trustee Salella,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. Item 7 is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving an agreement for cross-access joint driveway easement between 35 and 39 West Home Avenue. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village owns a property at 35 West Home Avenue that has a shared driveway with a privately held property at 39 West Home Avenue. The owners of 39 West Home Avenue have agreed to a shared use access agreement, which must be accepted before it can be recorded and necessary repairs can be completed. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Kazone?
I'll make that motion,
Do you
sir.
have a second? Trustee Wagner? Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Tucker?
I have a question. Is that behind the building thing, behind 39 West Holman Avenue that we're speaking of? Because it says you're taking the drive, according to the notice, that the portions of the driveway and the ability to park behind the building. Is that behind our building we're speaking of, or the access behind 39?
39, Your Honor.
39. Not our building.
Not ours. So
Right.
it's the area behind 39 that we're doing a
Right.
joint type of share thing with.
But
The
have
other
you-
thing is this split cost, or are we doing the cost on it and then taking the short segment on 39 with it?
Split?
No.
We're most of the big holes are on our side.
Yeah, no. That's what I wondered, both the,
They're pretty high. So this is we're covering the cost.
we're doing the cost on it? Okay.
Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Salella,
Yes.
trustee Ayello,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Case,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. Item number 8 is a resolution concerning the public hearing which we had at 6:45 this evening pursuant to the Bond Issuance Notification Act for the State of Illinois prior to the sale of general obligation limited tax bonds, sales tax alternative revenue source, Series 2018D for the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. In 2017, the village issued alternate revenue bonds to refund TIF-3 debt certificates as part of the strategy to address insufficient TIF-3 revenue. These alternate revenue bonds are to be funded by rollover bonds issued each fall, which are then paid back using our non-home rule debt service extension base. The Bond Issue Notification Act requires a hearing before we issue those rollover bonds, which was held this evening. Consideration of the sale of these rollover bonds will be presented to the board on November 26, 2018. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Kazone?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Ciala?
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Ayello,
Yes.
trustee Case,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Salella,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. Item 9 is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, estimating the tax levy for 2018 in compliance with the truth in taxation law. Andrew Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village begins its tax levy process each year in late fall. The first step is an estimating resolution which includes the village and library levies. The tax levy public hearing is scheduled for November 26th. The ordinance will have a first reading on December 10th with final adoption planned for December 17th. The village is a tax-capped community, so the majority of the levy can increase by the lesser of CPI 2.1% this tax levy year or 5%. This resolution includes an increase of 3.6% for operations, including pension contributions. There's an increase in debt service of 33.1% before abatements, but a decrease of 15.8% after planned abatements. A portion of the abatements rely on successful sale of village-owned property. The total village and library tax levy has an increase of 11.2% before abatements, but a decrease of 3.2% with abatements. The operations portion of the levy will be further lowered by the county in accordance with tax cap laws. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you have a motion for a resolution? Trustee Ayala?
So moved.
Do you have a second? Trustee Wagner?
I'll second that motion.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Salela?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Ayello?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. Item 10 is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving final change order number 1 to the 2018 ADA Sidewalk Improvement Project for an addition in the amount of $8,670.68. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has a contract with A-Lamp Concrete Contractors, Inc. of Schaumburg, Illinois for the 2018 ADA sidewalk improvements. Proposed final change order number 1 consists of the final balancing of contract quantities as measured in the field. The net change of proposed final change order number 1 is an addition of $8,670.68 for an adjusted final contract amount of $93,890.68. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Yellow?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Trustee Kazone?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Tucker?
I just want an insight on what the additional amount was for. Do we have more residents that we add on? I thought these were just curbs and stuff in the village we were doing. What was the additional amount that area we had to
Yeah,
add
it's
to
additional
this?
quantities, Your Honor, but yeah, Vitas can do it.
Yeah, Vitas, trustee, Director DeStellis, it's probably material final counts.
With just additional locations that we added. When we awarded the contract, we indicated we would try and get closer to the $100,000 budgeted amount. So this was our attempt to add a few more intersections to get closer.
Which ones were added, is my
They
question.
were in the same city. I'd have to get you the exact location.
Okay, I'd like to see that, because on the one that you approached us on 428 on the addition, I wanted to know what was added to it.
I'll look at the rest of the new one.
Anything else, trustee?
Nope, just want to know the areas that were added to this.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Okay, Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Ayello?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Salela?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. Item 11 is a resolution of Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving final change order number 1 to the 2018 South Michigan Ave Improvement Project, Madison to Jackson, for a deduction in the amount of $1,904.54. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has a contract with A-Lamp Concrete Contractors, Inc. of Schaumburg, Illinois for the 2018 South Michigan Avenue Improvement Project, Madison to Jackson. Proposed final change order number 1 consists of the final balancing of contract quantities as measured in the field. Net change of proposed final change order number 1 is the deduction of $1,904.54 for an adjusted final contract amount of $1,407,195.43. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Wagner?
I'd like to make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Ayala? Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Aiello?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
President Bolton?
Yes. Item 12 is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing change order number 1 to the contract between the Village of Villa Park and Arrow Road Construction for the 2018 street improvement project for an addition in the amount of $84,240.05. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has a contract with Arrow Road Construction of Mount Pleasant, Illinois, for the 2018 street improvement project. Staff proposes the construction of an off-street parking area on West Park Boulevard just west of Harvard Avenue to serve an existing playground. Also, the shared driveway that provides access to Public Works vehicles between 35 and 39 West Home Avenue needs to be reconstructed. Staff proposes to complete this work under the existing contract for the 2018 street improvement project. The net amount of proposed change order number 1 is an addition of $84,240.05 for an adjusted contract amount of $1,806,585.50. The cost for this additional work would be paid out of account number 60-50202-299 in the Street Improvement Fund, Maintenance Funding. Thank you, Your Honor.
The motion for the resolution, Trustee Yellow. So moved. Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Case?
Yep.
Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, President Lopez. I did call the manager this afternoon and just kind of voiced my concerns about the parking in the right-of-way for the tot lot. I understand obviously we want parents and their children to be safe, but there's parking on Park, there's parking on Central, there's plenty of spaces for people to park. The thing that caught my eye in the staff memo was that staff has seen an increase. I guess my question would be, how did we measure the increase, or because for me this is not a, maybe it's a want to thing, not a necessity, and I would like to maybe offer an amendment to remove this parking from this resolution.
It would just be the reduction in the amount, since the resolution does not specify the
Okay.
exact projects.
So I would have to offer an amendment for a specific dollar amount.
Right, which
Okay.
I think
We can give you
you
that
have.
right here. Was $32,604.
Okay. So I'd like to amend the resolution to remove $32,604.
Be that one.
What's that?
You could just change that to that.
Oh, okay. You would like to make a motion to do that?
Yes, I'd like, yeah.
Okay. So the new amount would be $51,636. Do we
We need a vote
Do
on
we-
the amendment.
do we need a second?
Yes, sir.
Do we have a second? Seeing none, we'll go back to the original motion. And do we have any more comments or questions on that? Trustee Cielo.
I'm just wondering, I'm in favor of the parking, by the way, I think it's a necessity, but I'm also wondering if the parking spaces being straight in was due to the space limitations, if not maybe diagonal parking opposed to straight in. Just seems to make more sense to enter and exit on a diagonal and blend back into traffic.
That's interesting.
Just a thought, I don't know what the spacing is, if we lose a parking spot or not. Just something to think about before we go ahead.
Does Vitas have a answer for that? Does straight in take less space than diagonal?
Well, I think the main thing they were trying to accomplish when they laid this out was there's some trees there with plaques on it, and there's some other obstacles, so they were trying to minimize the disruption of the different amenities in the area. That's why we're only going to 6 spaces. Otherwise, we could have put in more, but then we would have been disrupting more items. So I think that's what dictated the alignment.
Okay. Trustee Kazone.
Did we look at parking on Central instead of Park? Would that limitations have been less on that side?
I'm not sure if we have adequate right-of-way on that side. Plus, I believe Central is wider. Park Boulevard's fairly narrow at that location. I think that's what drove picking that location specifically.
So it's mainly trees with plaques that may prohibit the diagonal parking for the
Well,
most part?
there's one, yeah, you can see on the diagram, there's one to the left there, and there's one to the right. So they're kind of squeezing it in between existing trees.
Are they of size where they're movable, or are they pretty mature by now?
Well,
They have a lot of meaning to them.
Well, I mean, I get the plaque and I get the memorial and all that.
but.
Does it mean less a foot over, or?
I mean, we can move it anywhere, but that was the reasoning for choosing what we chose. And we wanted to offset a little bit off of Harvard Avenue as well, further away from the corner.
It was just a thought. I'm not trying to add cost to a project.
Anyone else? Trustee Yellow?
Yeah, I like the idea they took it away from Harvard, so that when someone is pulling out, they're not someone else whipping around Harvard coming out of the park, doesn't have time to recognize there's a car coming out of there. I like the fact that we're trying to get some parking right along the park there, so that the little kids they don't have to come out. You know, sometimes kids are gonna jump out of their parents' car, street side rather than park side. You eliminated that by putting the parking in. I like the idea, so good to go by me.
Okay. Trustee Wagner?
Yeah, I just want to offer some other thoughts on this. I would have been more supportive of this had there been some justification for why we're doing it. If has there been an outcry from village residents to say we need parking there? Have we actually seen an increase in usage at the park? You know, because it kind of seems like a subjective judgment. We've seen an increase, but there's no justification for it. You know, I agree it's going to be certainly a nice amenity, but I'm just not sure it's needed at this time. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Trustee Tucker?
Yes, I have the same problem of, are we just doing this for safety factor that we're putting the 6, 7 parking places in it because of kids getting out and heading to the park? Or we have some availability that we have our population of cars and that we need these parking places? I mean, we put parking places over here on Villa for the businesses, and I'm not seeing them being used. Are we've got any liability for the purpose that we actually need these parking places there?
Well,
Or are
I
we
think
just doing it
safety is an
because of
important
safety
issue.
is an
Safety
important
important
issue?
issue. Sometimes that park does get very busy, so especially when the weather gets a little warmer, even in the wintertime. It's quite a few families and kids out there playing. So,
But I also see a lot of them walking to the park and
That's
not
true.
driving to the park. So I'm not seeing as many cars there as I am people in general in the park walking there. So I'm, you know, the justification for the amount we're putting in the parking spots in, is there a reason that we're doing it other than it's a safety factor that we think it's important to put it in these 7 parking places because it's safe?
Trustee Yellow.
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 You know, for me, the safety was critical. You know, I don't have little kids anymore. I probably won't have any more little kids. But when we had little kids, my wife would be very happy if there was a parking space like this rather than getting out right along the street. So, you know, I would have been fine walking the 7 miles and making my kid make the walk in the snow both ways uphill. But, you know, a lot of people like to have this safety, and I think that's a nice thing we're doing for the people that are going to use this park that have little, I mean, that's a little kid park. That's not a 12 or 14-year-old kid park. That's a 2, 3-year-old kid park. So there's a lot of very little kids there that use that park. And it is relatively busy. I've walked that area a lot, and there's a lot of kids. Sometimes there's 10 cars parked down that street. So I think it's absolute need.
Okay, anyone else? Trustee-
I've experienced the parking situation firsthand with grandkids. And I know what it's like to get in and out on the street with kids, with traffic, between 3 and 5 p.m. If you've ever tried it, it's not easy. So parking is a must, I believe.
Just a question to you, Dave, is this parking, by the way it is, going to save on that? Because it just means that people are going to be backing out into the traffic instead of being able to go forward in the parking places that are lined up now. So is that really going to change on the traffic congestion, on the danger of pulling in and pulling out?
More than a driveway.
My thinking there was, I'd rather risk the parent getting hit in their car with the kids in their seat, rather than the kid running out of a car and getting run over. So I thought there was a reduction. There's still a risk. There's always going to be a risk. But I think there's less risk doing it this way than there is now, the way it's set up. I'd much rather have, Vitas get hit when he's pulling out from watching the kids park or play in the park than the kid that he's watching run out and get hit. When I think of the two, we'd rather have Vitas get hit.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
Would not
anyone
like
else?
it as a kid.
Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Sewella?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
No.
Trustee Wagner?
I will present.
Trustee Ayello?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. Item 13 is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Villa Park and the Village of Lombard for contract maintenance for the traffic signal located at the intersection of Westmore and St. Charles Road. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. At the September 24, 2018 meeting, the Village Board approved an extension to its traffic signal maintenance contract with H&H Electric Company. This contract includes maintenance of the signals at Westmore Avenue and St. Charles Road. As 3/4 of this intersection is outside of Villa Park's boundaries, an intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Lombard is necessary. The agreement authorized invoicing procedures for signal maintenance of this intersection with the Village of Lombard for $1,875 annually. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Ayello?
Yes. So moved.
Do you have a second? Trustee Case?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Sewella?
Yes.
Trustee Ayello?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. Number 14 is public comment on non-agenda items. Clerk Kornecki, do you have anyone signed up?
Yes, we do. I have Wendy Granrath regarding the pool.
Yes. I'm here representing Save Lufkin Pool Group. Our group would like to encourage the board to vote no to demolish Lufkin Pool when it comes up for vote on your November 12th agenda at the board meeting. Here are some of the reasons why we would like you to vote no to demolish Lufkin. First, a feasibility study was approved by the board at the September 14th board meeting. The feasibility study will consider options for new and existing recreational and aquatic facilities. This study data should be obtained before a decision is made about what to do with Lufkin Pool. Secondly, in a memo that was dated May 10th, the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission recommended waiting until the feasibility study is concluded before making decisions or plans with regard to Lufkin Park. Lufkin Pool remains closed every year from September to June. Leaving it intact until spring or later will not incur any additional issues or expense from a typical year. We do not know what resident opinions are with regard to Lufkin or a new aquatic facilities. Resident surveys done at least 10 years ago prior to the closing of Lufkin suggested residents were interested in maintaining existing facilities, but were also interested in a new aquatic facility. The feasibility study, which will gather current public input, will provide data on resident opinions about whether the village should maintain or upgrade existing facilities, if residents want a new aquatic facility, or if residents want to maintain the status quo on aquatic facilities. It is premature to take repairing or upgrading Lufkin Pool out of consideration as a possible action, future action, by voting to demolish the pool. The Save Lufkin Group park advocates are actively working to raise money for repairs for Lufkin. Voting to demolish the pool will eliminate the possibility of receiving any money to go towards repairs. A decline in Villa Park pool passes, as mentioned at the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission, swim lessons, swim rental income in 2018 shows a correlation with results from our survey of Save Lufkin Facebook followers. In that survey, people that had a 2017 Villa Park pool pass but not a 2018 Villa Park pool pass were not getting a pass elsewhere or purchasing passes to a neighboring town. Survey respondents indicate that they would not be purchasing a Villa Park pool pass in 2019 unless Lufkin reopened. The longer Lufkin is closed, the greater chance families will never come back as they go to other towns to buy passes or find other ways to occupy their summer. There are many good reasons not to demolish Lufkin. We need more information before we make the decision. The pool would not be open anyway, so what does it hurt to wait until spring to make that decision? Please vote no to demolish Lufkin on November 12th. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone
Yes.
else? Anyone else?
Yes, Kristen Toshin.
Hello, my name is Kristen Toshin, and I'm here representing the Save Lufkin Group to tell you about what we've accomplished since the February board meeting. At that meeting, the board voted not to fund repairs for Lufkin, but not to demolish the pool and allow our group to form a nonprofit and raise money for the pool. The first step we had to take was to gather information, as we needed to know if there were expectations for our group, the amount of money we were expected to raise, and the process the board would have to go through to fix Lufkin if money was raised. Based on the information collected, we then discussed forming a nonprofit organization to raise money towards Lufkin repairs. We researched legal options, and with some reservations, due to the fact that we could be raising money for repairs that would never be accepted by the board, we decided to forge ahead. All the required documents were created and necessary forms were filed to create a nonprofit organization called the Park Advocates of Villa Park in July. Recently, we filed the forms to become a 501c3 organization and are awaiting a decision from the IRS regarding our status. We created a GoFundMe page and we started accepting donations. While the sole source of donations has been from residents, we have plans to hold a fundraising event and start a sponsorship program if we're given the chance. The uncertainty regarding what will happen with donations should the board not accept money for repairs or vote to demolish the pool has made fundraising for Lufkin more challenging. We also wanted to note that we advocated for the passage of the feasibility study, which we recommended in the business plan that was presented at a board meeting in February. Since December 2017, when the Save Lufkin Group was unofficially formed, until today, when we are an official organization in the process of acquiring 501c3 status, we have accomplished a great deal. We encourage the board to give us more time to work on saving Lufkin by voting not to demolish Lufkin Pool at the November 12th board meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
No, no one else.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll move down to the clerk's report.
Okay, my report is just reminding residents that early voting started today, and looking at the information here, the closest one we have is, to us, is Elmhurst at the City Hall, and they will be open for early voting through November 3rd, and then there's the Yorktown Center, outside the mall, that's that side strip, and they are open as of today also, and they'll be open through November 5th. So we certainly want our residents to vote and, take that obligation that you have as part of living in America and the liberty we have to vote. So please remember that. And they are open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 7:30 p.m., Saturdays as well from 9 to 5, and even Sunday from 10 to 4. And that's all, Mr. President.
And those times are just for the location?
Those
in
two
Yorktown?
locations. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Elmhurst and Yorktown.
Okay, we'll move on down to the trustees' report. Starting on my right, trustee Ciala,
No reports this evening.
trustee Kazone.
It's a couple things. The Community Pride Commission meeting has been moved from tomorrow to October 30th to allow votes on the Halloween Decoration Awards. And if anyone has any houses they'd like to nominate, they can contact the Community Pride Commission through the Villa Park website. I think they'll go through the end of the week, and then they'll vote on them, and hopefully the next meeting we'll have those winners. And again, congratulations to the Willowbrook football team, undefeated season, and will be going to the playoffs. Congratulations to Coach Hildreth and the team. That's it.
Thank you. Trustee Case.
Nothing tonight.
Okay. Trustee Yallow.
Nothing tonight.
Trustee Tucker.
I just want to remind everybody about the Halloween hours and to always stay safe from 3 to 7 trick-or-treating. It's meant to be fun, so please be safe out there. Make sure your kids are safe and wear bright color clothes or some kind of banner on this costume so people can see them. I would hate to have anything happen to our kids in the town.
That's it.
That's good.
Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, President Wolfus. Just a couple things. Just want to let members of the public know that the Environmental Concerns Commission will be meeting here at Village Hall on Thursday, the 25th, at 7 p.m. Also would like to remind members of the public that the Villa Park Junior Women's Club will be holding their Trick or Trot 5K run this coming Saturday, October 27th. The run starts at 8 o'clock. Even though you may have missed the early bird registration, you can still register on site the day of the 5K run. Just want to let members of the public know that once again this year, the Environmental Concerns Commission, in conjunction with Scarce, will be hosting a, they call it pumpkin smash, because that's what people do when they drop off their pumpkins, but the pumpkins that will be collected will be composted as opposed to going into the landfill. And that'll be on Saturday, November 3rd, from 9 a.m. to noon here at Village Hall. And Royce Fromm has been nice enough to donate a dumpster for that event. And also I'd like to let members of the public know that the Calvary United Methodist Church will be holding an all-you-can-eat spaghetti dinner fundraiser, and that's going to be on Friday, November 9th, from 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., and they're at 135 East Highland here in Villa Park. And lastly, I was fortunate enough to attend the Honda 2050 rollout that occurred in Millennium Park. This is the plan for the region that was put together by CMAP and thousands of other people, and it was a very interesting event. Lots of information, and of course the report is quite significant. But just one thing that I came away with, one fact that was trotted out was that for the region, and this is when they say the region, they mean the collar counties and the city of Chicago. In the next 30 years, if nothing is done to infrastructure, just to maintain our current infrastructure, it'll require $24 billion to make improvements to our infrastructure, which is, I think there's a general agreement that there's issues with roads and bridges and other infrastructure. It'll cost $58 billion. And the question is, where is that money going to come from? And kind of what I was hearing from the panels that were at the kickoff to this, and our chairman, Dan Cronin, was there. He sat next to Tony Preckwinkle, who is the Cook County chair. And the general consensus is that the state of Illinois needs to step up, because there hasn't been a capital bill in 10 years. And there was kind of a general consensus that that's something that needs to happen. And there's kind of a bipartisan consensus, though. It was very interesting, lots of information, and got to sit next to our Public Works Director, and that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. I have a couple things only. First off is I'd like to congratulate our Finance Department who received the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for the current budget from the Government Finance Officers Association. This is the 26th year in a row that they've received that award, and this award is really the highest form of recognition in government budgeting and represents a really significant achievement by our finance department, and we thank you for that, Kevin, and the rest of your staff, and we really appreciate that. So, very good. Thank you. And the next thing I had is I hope you all had a chance to visit the fire station last Saturday on their open house. I think it was about the biggest crowd I've seen there in years. Weather was just fine. And it was a very nice event, and like I said, very well attended. And we thank you, Fire Department, for doing that every year. I'm sure the residents and the little kids really appreciated it. I enjoyed watching the guy propel down the 50-foot tower, so he's more brave than I am. So thank you very much. So then we'll move on to the manager's report.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just have one item, and I want to kind of segue into the same item that Trustee Tucker mentioned about the Halloween hours. So the Halloween hours are 3 to 7 on Halloween, Wednesday, October 31st, and our police and fire departments will be out as well, passing out candy and enjoying the evening as well. So if you need some assistance, they'll be out through the entire community with the sirens on, I'm sure, lights, and very visible. So thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah. And please, drivers, please drive safely on that night. Those little guys and the girls are out. Sometimes they don't look before they cross the street, so take your time. Go a little slower. So, okay, with that, we'll go. I just want to mention one other thing before we go to the adjournment. Our next board meeting is November 12th at 7 o'clock at the Iowa Community Center. So. And we'll move on to number 19, and that's the executive session, which is A, 5 ILCS 120/2C1, personnel matters. C2, collective bargaining matters. C5, purchase or lease of property. C6, sale or lease of property. C11, pending litigation. And C21, discussion of closed session minutes. Do we have a motion for executive session? Trustee Allo.
So moved.
Second, Trustee Wagner.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Let's have a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Aiello?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
After executive session, we have one item that we will be coming back out for, and that would have to do with the police labor agreement. But right now, we're going to go into executive session.